What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counter Punch Boxing News, and we are live. What's up, everyone? How we doing today? It is a beautiful day today, and we have a lot to discuss concerning the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Router. Fly, tie, blizzy, hashtag setup how, okay? All right, now we got some conspiracy stuff on here, but we need to talk about Wilder. We'll let the chat load. I have a lot to explode. you know, um, we have a lot of people that doubt what happened that night. We have Belfast, Richard Cassidy, Adebayo. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. D Nice, D Neek. Counterpunch to you, brother. Richard Cassidy. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to everybody's on the chat. Now we have Wilder coming out, and of course, we know that he has spoken finally. And it's one of those things where he's uncertain now what happened, what went wrong with that night. Okay, that's where we're at. That's where he's at mentally. And Wilder has boldly said that he doesn't think Wilder should be a champion. Can't make it up, people. That's what Deontay Wilder claims. He said he doesn't. Let me let you. Deontay Wilder says that he was a zombie during the Tyson Fury match. Okay. Now, we know he said, I am who I am. I'm the American. People know that know boxing know that wasn't Deontay Wilder on that night. Okay. And he said, I felt like a zombie. I'm still reflecting. I can't believe the things that happened, and I'm figuring things out. Wilder's lost, people. Do you understand that? Wilder does not know how he lost. Oh, I didn't feel right. I took the mask off. I didn't feel myself. I felt like a zombie. I can't. Things are happening. Do you? The psychology of a fighter that has never lost, that is not accustomed to defeat, they say similar things. Kick, BT, or kick, BT, counterpunch to you. Wilder is a complete overrated fighter, says Elvis. Wilder is the highest hype fighter, highest hype fighter. It's good to hear a reasonable point of view from an American and somehow who holds their hands up. Respect, Kurt, bro. Appreciate you, Richmond. Alexander, Wilder is an embarrassment shown that he never had the character of a champion. Look, you can't fault Wilder too much. He just doesn't understand what really happened. Something happened to you that you never experienced. This is typical. A lot of fighters said the same shit. I don't know what happened. I'm still trying to figure it out, And reading, I can't believe things that happen. You know what? Deontay Wilder's in denial. He's in denial. February 22nd, March 22nd, April 15th. Okay, so about 2 months later, he's still in denial. I mean, that's fresh. That ass whooping's fresh, people. He doesn't know what happened. He can't figure it out. He said it's not over. In my eyes, I don't see Fury as a champion. That's more confirmation that this motherfucker's in denial. He can't see that he was not punching back. And something, honestly, if you take away the knockdowns, right? If you take the knockdowns away, Luis Ortiz gave him a bigger ass whooping than Tyson Fury did. If you take away the knockdowns, all right? In that seventh round, Deontay Wilder took an ass beating in that seventh round. It was just what Luis Ortiz did not have any backing. He didn't have. He's just a regular tough fighter, a tough older fighter that honestly that Wilder should have fought years ago. Okay, but since he fought him in 2018, and the guy, Luis Ortiz showed a shell of himself. He showed what he could still do at that age, at 39, fucking about what 19 days from 40. Do understand on paper? I'm not talking about the legends and the myths and the action. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on paper. Ortiz was 39, 20 days from being 40 years old. And he showed Deontay Wilder in the seventh round who he once was. A shell of that. A taste of that. He put the toe in the water. You know? But unfortunately, it wasn't enough time, and they knew Ortiz is damn near 40 years old. Wilder should be able to get him out of there, and he did. But he needed help to do that, which was sad. But again, Tyson Fury doing this to Deontay Wilder, it just shows how delusional this guy really is. Okay? Because he's not even understanding what happened. I don't even know if he should look at that fight and see what happened. Look at what happened. But I tell you what didn't. Deontay Wilder did not take Fury down like he did the first fight. And that was the problem. You know, he, in fact, let's see. Heavy ring walk. See, you didn't hear any of the heavy ring walk shit. Another problem that just shows you that somebody probably in Fury's or Deontay Wilder's camp told him, like Shelly Finkel, don't say that again. Yeah, he's still in denial. Hey, Raheem, he's still in denial, bro. That's the only thing we can come up with. That's it. He's in denial. He won't admit that, hey, I got that ass whooped. Don't know what happened. That's what happened. I don't know. I was just standing there. You got your ass beat. you know? Muhammad Ali, what's up, brother? Something was wrong that night. He got found out, other than the one trick. He had nothing else to fall back to. I'm scared in the trilogy. Some LDBC nut might shoot up the place. Muhammad Ali, well, let's take away the shoot up the place because I don't think that would happen. But I do believe that people are in denial because you start riding with people. Do you understand, guys, that Floyd Mayweather has been retired for officially for 5 years? Fuck the little Japanese guy. Fuck that. Fuck Kyoto. I'm not talking about him. McGregor, it don't count unless McGregor won. Real talk. See, if McGregor would have won, that shit would have counted. Because all the haters of Floyd, he beat him, he beat him. He beat fucking Floyd at what, at 40, 41? Wait, 38, 40. He was 40 years old. 40 years old, or no, 41. Mm-hmm. Hey, got found out about being a fraud who has most padded record for a champ. He's had smoke blown up his ass for so long it will never truly believe he lost. Well, that's what happens when you are surrounded around people that only cater to yeses. They do what you tell them to do. They say what you want to hear. They don't tell you something that's real. And this is what happens ultimately. It is what it is. Luis S. Hey, Luis from Miami, what's up? I hear Wilder was found. He's cool, but he needs to accept the loss. Luis S., it is what it is, and you are a Wilder fan, so you know. And it's not about hating Wilder. It's about Wilder accepting true defeat. That defines him as a true champ. That shows his heart as a true champ because it's not about what you lost. It's about what you can get back. And if he doesn't even consider Tyson Fury a fucking champ, okay, First of all, if you don't consider Tyson Fury as a champ, that means you consider yourself as a champ. What do I mean by that? I mean, okay, Wilder was the WBC heavyweight champion, right? He got beat by Tyson Fury, right? So what happens? The belt changes hands. Respect the shit. That's all I'm saying, people. Respect the shit. Don't be bitter. Don't be a bitch. Don't be in denial. Don't be, don't be a spoiled sport about the shit. Just admit it. Like, dude, you lost. It's okay. Honestly, here's the thing. When I saw that shit in this living room, okay, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the shit. And I was like, this shit really happening? Wilder getting fucked up like he's getting fucked up. You know what I mean? And I started, and I was like, wow. I mean, because I thought the day would come, but I didn't think that day was gonna be that day. Honestly, honest to God, I was just like, kind of like in shock. I mean, I was excited. I mean, the fan spirit, of course. I was crunk because I was going live, like I'm going live right now. But it was just like, dude, this shit's really happening. Damn, that was actually a knockdown. You know what I mean? Al Heyman, you can't fucking cover that up. You can't do it, mate. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. Chris Roberts, when does Wilder ever gas after one or two rounds? That never happens. That should tell everyone that he was not right that night, not saying he would lose anyway. Well, here's the thing. I don't know what was wrong with Wilder. The only thing we can do, and if, okay, here's the thing. He wasn't drugged. That's bullshit because they would have saw in the tests that he was drugged. You know what I mean? And so it wasn't that. So the only thing we could do is go back and resort to the training that he had. I mean, what type of training really did he have? You know? And all bullshit aside, if you see a person that is accustomed to knocking people out with one or two punches, isn't there a temptation for you not to do anything when you're surrounded around people that may want to make you believe that you are just this badass motherfucker? You know what I mean? It's a temptation not to train. On top of, we've heard what Wilder said out of his own mouth. He does not like to train people. He don't like to train. That ain't his thing. He wants to go home and let his children love all over him, right? You know what I mean? He doesn't like that. So, and then we also know that he's allowed to cut corners, right? He's got it easy. He skips steps, right? I mean, this has been documented, people. This ain't no shit that Kurt DeVille is making up. This is what Wilder said out of his own mouth. So isn't there, to be fair, isn't there a temptation when you are the baddest man on the planet, the hardest hit puncher in boxing history, right? Ain't he labeled as that? The bronze bomber, right? The man that wants a body. Isn't it a temptation for this guy to not train? Right? Ain't it a temptation? Give me that much. You know what I mean? Give me that much. All that was wrong with Wilder was there wasn't a bum in the opposite corner, and there was a Op Fury opposite. And then here's the thing: it's not even it's not even that. Sure, Tyson Fury was game. Tyson Fury was over game compared to what Wilder was expecting. His expectations were nothing like he got. Right? He underestimated Fury. Fury came like a wild wind. He stood in front of him. And it was risky. It was. And he did take some right hands. But the right hands themselves wasn't enough. MCK, best of you back, brother. Shout out to Liverpool. John Gordon has surrounded himself with yes men. Absolutely, John. Absolutely. That's what he did. John, a punch to you, brother. He was surrounded by people that only said yes. He wasn't surrounded by, and you know what? I guarantee you, the only person that said something in contrast of that is let's see, Mark Breland. Mark Breland was the only person that said, hey, I think he should do this. He's the only person that said Wilder don't listen to him. Well, yes men don't say that because yes men are too busy saying what? Yes, yes, Deontay, yes, Deontay. Shelly Finkel, JD's, yes, Deontay. Deontay's homeboy that dropped out of something shit to hang around him all the time. That same dude, he's another yes, yes, homie. That's what I'm saying, homie. You, yeah, 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 yeah. Right? That's all that went down. Delusional with the capital D. Wayne Fitness counterpunch. He thought power was the only thing he needed. And guess what? When you prepare yourself, and you got to think about someone like Fury that took those punches behind the head in the ninth, and he took one straight to the fucking face in the 12th. And I think what he figured out, okay, he doesn't punch that hard. I can take these shots. So let me condition myself like I should. Let me put on more weight. Let me add muscle to my game. Right? And Fury don't have muscle to his game. Fury's a guy that's freakishly tall and lanky and kind of blubbery, right? And he's known he can punch a lot better than people give him credit for to be the size that he is. But the motherfucker never thought to put on weight, to put on muscle. And in my mind, I'm like, hey, that might be a bad thing, but it was a good thing because Tyson Fury, he has muscle now. This ain't this drunk and this dude that's relapsing and half sweating old coke out of his system and all that shit, old whiskey and you know what I mean. The detox is a mother people. When you detox, you got to get things out of your mind. You got to get your receptors, those receptors that want that alcohol and all that shit. You got to get those dimmed, okay, and not exercised, and a lot of shit that's involved with detoxing and rehabilitation. Okay, so he wasn't dealing with that person. He was dealing with a fucking ex cokehead, ex party animal with mental illness, turned into a fucking fitness instructor. Tyson Fury's a damn fitness instructor. He's gonna have his own motivational video pretty soon. Watch. Hello, you big dulcets. Come on with me. Come on. With me in Paris. Look, I'm going to pick her up and pick her. Oh, look, I'm been pressing. Pitch up your old lady if you're just like the Gypsy King. Right? He going to be a fucking fitness. He going to have a fitness video. He going to be like Tybo. It's going to call gypsy boxing exercise. You know? If you strip everything back, I think Wilder was generally scared of Tyson going into the second fight. He's never been in with someone who wasn't scared. I don't know. I mean, I think Wilder thought that the right hand could solve it, and it didn't. And I think maybe in that fight it scared him because he's like, this motherfucker's supposed to be to the canvas by now. I've hit him a couple good times, and he probably hit him the same way in the first fight. Wow. Juicy Lee, what's up? Counterpunch to you. He is a shame he suffered. Yeah, similar to AJ. Yeah, Dion. Look, what goes around comes around. You give off that negative shit about a fighter, and I know that was his rival or whatever, but if you give off those type of and you say those type of words and you give off that type of negative energy and you plant those fucked up seeds like that, you're just asking for that. And look, here's the thing. People like what goes around comes around. Don't you see what that seed that he planted produced? It produced him a seventh round ass beating, seventh round stoppage, right? And the irony, it's too convenient for it to be just ironic. 7 rounds for Joshua getting defeated. He didn't fight like a real champ. He didn't have a heart of a champion. But now you're delusional about the fucking loss. So what does that say about your heart? You know what I'm saying? Like you're not even trying to admit or even give the credit to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury didn't do nothing bad to you but beat your ass, and I think that's hurting him. You know what I mean? That shows this man is in pain. If you're in denial like that, denial is that separation, or you're trying to cut off how hurt you really are. That's all that really means. He's trying to deny it because he's really that hurt. You see what I mean? He has to get over a lot of shit first. Wilder might not be shit coming into this next fight. Why? Because the man don't even admit that he lost. You know what I mean? I know a lot of fighters, oh man, I don't know what happened that night. I just was off. And look, anybody can have an off night. But that don't mean you shouldn't give the other fighter credit, people. Can I say that again? Any fighter, any boxer could have an off night. And you're just, the reflexes are not there. You might have had too much sex before the fight. You must have got drunk or something. Boxers have crazy lifestyles. Okay? The married ones or unmarried ones, single or married, it doesn't matter. They live pretty wild lives. Ask Errol Spence. Right? Not everyone's just gonna sit at home with their kids. They like to get out with the rest of the boxers and the models and all them Takate girls and all that shit, the Rona girls and all them. You know what I mean? They like to party, right? So those are elements that are outside influences that caused an off night. Well, if Deontay Wilder had an off night, like like a lot of people claim, okay, I'll give him that much. He had an off night. Apparently, he didn't do what he thought he could, but I think what he thought he could do didn't work. That's it. What he thought he could do, hit this motherfucker with the right hand, just like Hasim Rockman knocked out Lennox Lewis, just like Andy Ruiz caught Anthony Joshua with the left hook. That's exactly what happened. That's it. That's all. Okay, that's all that happened. These guys are delusional as shit. Honestly, he's delusional. He didn't want to admit to the win. Kurt, why does BB always delete honest opinion concern Wilder, which is absolutely disgraceful? Well, you can't blame Blue Blood though. Are you talking about Blue Blood? You can't blame him because Blue Bloods is a he knows that Wilder himself looks at that channel, and if he says something, anything that may convey that negativity towards Deontay Wilder won't allow him to get those exclusive videos whenever he's in New York or whatever. So he does that, and a lot of those guys do that. They kiss ass to those fighters, but what they do in return, those fighters see, okay, this guy's praising me. This guy's a fan of my skills or whatever, and then when I come in, I'm gonna give him a shout out. You know what I mean? So that's why Blue Blood does that. So he doesn't want to be considered that guy that said anything negative about Wilder because Wilder gives him exclusive content. That's why. That's it. You know what I mean? I don't know how he really feels. He might not even really believe the shit he's putting on his channel. He might not. Who knows? But at the end of the day, he needs Wilder because Wilder was the heavyweight champion. You know what I mean? And in hopes. And here's the problem with that: if Wilder gets beat again, those channels are fucking finished. You know what I mean? I mean, they'll talk about Errol Spence and stuff like that, but Errol Spence don't have the views and the notoriety like Deontay does. Let's just be real. More views are Joshua, Wilder, Klitschko, Alexander Usyk, Pacquiao, the Pacquiao fans, Mayweather at times, because he's in and out of the sport himself with topics and stuff like that. Canelo's okay. He's losing steam, honestly. But the top searchers are the heavyweights. Bottom line. There, I said it. But that's why. Only the thing, Muhammad Ali says the only thing that rematch was missing was the chicken dance from Wilder in a clean KO. That what Fury should look to target in the trilogy. Yep. M.A. Khan, self-delusion. Well, look, he got to blame his team for that, M.A. Khan. Like Wilder, people blame Wilder. I don't blame Wilder by himself. I do question his intelligence, though. I got to. But then here's the thing. When you can't think for yourself, you're in trouble. Because if you're thinking, if you are surrounded by people that tell you yes, 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 any doubt could be the beginning of something real. When you start doubting yourself, that means you're doubting what people are telling you. And I don't think Wilder, I think even if he has those negative thoughts, I think people are around him to stop him from thinking that way. Okay? They're stopping him from thinking that way because they don't want him, in a negative light. But see, I think the real thing is they don't want him waking up. They don't want him understanding, like, dude, I could lose this fight in the trilogy. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not the guy that, I thought I was. And in that thought of reality, he could then improve. But he will never unless he wakes up and understands what he did wrong and what he does wrong in his fights. And all the other fights were fucking fixed. Okay? Deontay Wilder ain't no different from Rocky 3. Okay? Before he took on Clubber Lang, and then Mickey told him, like, he'll knock you into the next year, Rock. They were handpicked. Yeah, they were handpicked fights. Even the Luis Ortiz fight, I'm going back to that. Yes, why? Because Ortiz was 40 fucking years old, man. He was 300, 300. He was 39 years old, 11 months, and some days when he fought Deontay Wilder. When those fights with Wilder and Luis Ortiz and Wilder been talking shit for a long time, why do you think Ortiz called him a bitch? Hey, listen, you a bitch. Why you think that is because 4 years ago, back in 16, Ortiz got popped for PEDs, right? And Wilder blasted him for it back then. This is a backstory. And he said, I would never fight a cheat. That's what he said. Luis Ortiz needs to be ashamed of himself. You know how Deontay talks. He needs to be ashamed of himself. He a cheater. I never fight a cheater. To this day. Right? But he fought him any fucking way 4 years later. Sorry. 2 years later. Right? 2.5 years later. He could have fought him then. But he didn't. So what changed in this morality? Right? If you don't believe, don't fight a cheater, because once a cheater is always a cheater. We know the rule. We know the saying. But if you believe that, if Deontay Wilder believed that, what made him all of a sudden think? Even after he failed the second test, remember with the high blood pressure medicine, that should have been confirmation to believe what you already believed years ago. So there shouldn't have been any Luis Ortiz fight. But they knew they had to put Wilder in there with somebody with some type of reputation. They knew that. And the best bet, fuck Dillian White. No, he's a young dude. He might get his ass blitzed. No. We're not doing that. He's a matchroom fighter. He's the number one contender. So what? Right? We ain't putting him in there with nobody like that. Okay? And let me be real with you. Povetkin, hey, he's just as old as Ortiz. So they attempted that, but they knew that fell through. But they knew Wilder still ain't been tested, and he ain't been tested since he got the belt. Bermane Stiverne is a fucking nobody. Okay? Let's just be real. The only person he beat was Chris Arreola. Who in the fuck is Chris Arreola, and who did Chris Arreola beat? Let's be real. He never beat an elite fighter. He was an Olympian. That's this claim to fame. He was a decent amateur fighter coming from Mexican descent. Shouts out to him. No disrespect to him. It's just he wasn't on the level of anybody. Wilder beat him too. But who the hell is he? Yeah, Timmy Yee. I'm happy he ain't giving COVID-19 excuses. But what I will say is I'm disappointed because he hasn't even said anything to support the deaths, the sickness, the causes, right? The infected. He hasn't said anything in regards to that. You know what I mean? So if you don't call Tyson Fury a true champion, you don't look at him as a champion. That motherfucker sure acting like a champion. He sure is. Because he's doing the things that an ambassador of the sport, which a champion would do and is doing. Giving his product, his water, his aid to the people that are helping fighting this fucking thing. Wilder ain't doing shit. What is he doing? He's been missing. Look at the image, people. Them motherfuckers on a milk carton. Why do you think so? Because we ain't seen him, ain't heard from him this whole time. He's been underwater, and the only thing that he can respond to is something that Tyson Fury said. And it wasn't really a blasting video. He just, well, I'm disappointed on how the performance was because he didn't seem like himself. Was that something that you're supposed to respond to? And it's the thousands of motherfuckers that died. 100,000 people have died of this shit, and you ain't gave your aid or your support or just words of encouragement to motherfuckers. Like, what is that? That's piss poor to me. But Tyson Fury ain't the champion. Okay. Moving on. Wilder did seem different. Yeah, he did. You know, I mean, but then when you start getting hit with punches, you know, and a person takes what you got that other people couldn't take, you know, it might be a mind fuck for Wilder because he might realize now that maybe he isn't with someone in there with somebody he can just knock out. He found that out the first fight. Even though he claims up and down that count was slow and all this, you know, I knocked him out really. He ain't supposed to, you know what I mean? He does that. That's a person that's afraid of the second fight. If you keep harping on what happened in the first, you're not really looking. That's like a person always talking about the past. If they're always talking about the past, a piece of themselves die every day in the present tense because they're focused on another time that's already gone instead of focusing on the present. Okay? And what happened with Wilder, he got a guy that was tough that he labeled pillows for fists. He can't say how hard he hits. He can't do that. He can't say that now because then he would look like a bigger idiot. He's not going to do that, people. That's not look, I question his intelligence, but his pride is off the charts. So if anything that fucks with his pride, oh no. He's not going to let that slide. James Sutherland. Hey, don't be hard on Wilder. Apparently gravity was heavier that night. That's not his fault. Shit, I guess not. Because he fell. You know, George Foreman said that Deontay thinks of the title is vacant. You got to win it back. Dumb Deontay twisted to say he don't see Fury as a champ. Ugh, Deontay is so stupid. I can't take it no more. Look, Wayne. Honestly, that's a good way for Wilder to think about it. Why do I say that? Because it's not like Fury can fight nobody else. You know what I mean? So if I'm Wilder, I have to think like that now. I have to look at that belt being vacant or until I get it back. But he still needs to understand Tyson Fury still holds the motherfucker. You know what I mean? But at the end of the result, if I'm Wilder, I have to look at it like that. You gotta fight me. The only way that Tyson Fury can change that and show him that that's real is say, you know what? I'm not fighting you, Deontay. I'll see you in court. I'm fighting Joshua. And I guarantee you my purse from the Joshua fight would be undisclosed. Why? Because at that point, Al Heyman will sue ESPN, Bob Arum, Frank Warren. He will sue them for a massive amount of money. So what the whole thing is, if Al Heyman sues, they cannot reveal what that fight purse is. You know, and then at that point, they could force Deontay Wilder. If they sue Tyson Fury, or they would settle out of court, and Deontay would then have to settle for the winner. But if Deontay don't settle for the winner, that means he never wanted a fucking Anthony Joshua fight, because who's to say that Tyson Fury would defeat Anthony Joshua? We don't know that until the shit happens. Those are two different fighters. Okay? So if that happens and Wilder don't care, see, here's the thing. If you didn't care about who won, that means you wouldn't care, right, who you fought. But if he did not want to go that route, there's a problem. Okay? That's the problem right there. Because every time you look around, it seems to me like Wilder is finding some fucking kind of way to get out of a Joshua confrontation. And I say confrontation, I don't mean fight, I mean confrontation. Okay, let me go back. What do I mean by that? Confrontation means he doesn't even want to be in the presence of Anthony Joshua. That's what makes it so fucked up. Think about it. Before Anthony Joshua was defeated by a person, a fill-in, Andy Ruiz, what did he want to do? Sit down and talk to Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, in response, said it ain't about the belts no more. And then what he did a day after that, or was it the same day? Anyway, right shortly after that, Deontay Wilder uh, supposedly booked 2 fights in advance out of the blue. He picked the Ortiz fight and the Fury fight. Fury fight, of course, he fought. The Luis Ortiz fight, he fought. But at the time, none of those fights were confirmed. Tyson Fury said, I don't even know, hell, I didn't sign nothing to fight this motherfucker, so I don't even know what he's talking about. He did that to avoid a sit down with Anthony Joshua that lets you know he did not want to fucking fight Anthony Joshua at all. He didn't want any confrontation with Anthony Joshua. Why? Because he had to be accountable for all the shit that he talked. Luckily, Anthony Joshua was a mellow dude. You better be glad Anthony Joshua ain't like one of those Mike Tyson motherfuckers. Because then he would be like, well, bitch, what'd you say? Okay? But still, Deontay Wilder knowing he talked a whole gang of shit when he had the opportunity to say so, and he didn't say so when he was in the presence of Joshua. He gave this man a gentle fist bump. Okay? He said, I got to do it like this in the state. Did he call out Anthony Joshua? Well, why did Anthony Joshua call him out? He didn't need to. Okay? Nobody gave a fuck about Deontay Wilder fight. And honestly, nobody really knew who he was. Let's be real. He was a WBC belt holder, and he got the vacant belt because Vitali let that shit go, and he fought Bermane Stiverne, another nobody, for it. Let's just be real. Let's do some real shit now. So who cared about Deontay? Deontay didn't even care to say nothing because he knew what level he was on. That's why he didn't say shit. Okay? That's why, of course, they hired him after he beat Ortiz in 18. They hired him to be a commentator on Sky Sports, just like he was with the Vladimir Klitschko-Joshua fight, right? He didn't want it. They hired him to be a commentator. He was there. I rest my case, people. It is what it is. Deontay Wilder is a champion for what he said to this day. To this day, in fighting bums 39 to fight a 40 bums. Well, he ain't fighting them no more, and look what happened. He torn a muscle. Are there more excuses? Yeah, I'll do a video about that shit. Lee Sewell. Counterpunch to you, Kurt. King, he is here in my DM. I know, right? Counterpunch it. The king is here. Your king is here. Good evening, all. Big up from London. Jerome Benjamin. Counterpunch to you, brother. Samuel Garcia. It's funny. Deontay Wilder is still in denial. Not surprised. It's downfall. Yeah, I mean, he's in denial. I mean, he doesn't want to admit it, but, So, what does that mean? That means that his fans are right on point. That means that that the fans of Deontay Wilder think just like him. They are two peas in a pod. Wilder and his fans. But if you notice, he's like, well, I don't know what really happened. You know what that's meaning? That means that anything could have happened. That means all the fucking shit combined. All the rumors, all the gossip, all the myths. Oh, he was drugged, and the glove gate shit, and the costume, and all that. Okay, all that's involved. You guys remember that Tyson Fury was PED cheating? They had to go back 5 years. You think that shit was coincidence? That all of a sudden some fucking broke ass farmer is coming out of the woodwork talking about, oh well, they owed me money, and fucking crazy, man. But no, they're all on the same team now. Deontay Wilder, he purposely ain't saying anything about the glove gate because he wants people to believe it. See, you can go along with something and not clear it. It's because you don't clear it, okay? That means you're going along with it. You're allowing people to believe it. It's just as bad. It's just chicken shit. It's a chicken shit way of allowing something to keep going on. It's just like this. It's like you had the baddest girl in school, I mean, when I say baddest, I mean prettiest, right? Hottest girl in school. And a rumor got out that you had sex with her and you're a nerd. But then you don't tell anyone. You just let that shit ride. Like, oh man, you had sex with Stacy Whitmore. Right? You don't say yay or nay. You know damn well that didn't happen, but people believe it, right? So if people believe it, okay, because they're speaking it, then they're believing it. Hopefully you'll receive it. Oh hell no, I don't think so. Okay, you're just allowing someone to lie using your name. That's all that's happening at this point, and it's bad. It's sad, you know. Just like this, I'm gonna give you another example. One can we can relate more to in the sport of boxing. Joey DeWaco. Remember Joey DeWaco? Joey DeWaco was rumored to knock Joshua out in sparring. Now, Joey DeWaco could have, by his own admission, um, no, that didn't happen, bro. I didn't knock Anthony Joshua out, but what did he do? He allowed that shit to linger on. He allowed people to keep believing that. But what when they asked him, oh, I don't have nothing to do about that because he liked the buzz around his name. He liked the attention that he was getting. This guy had 4 or 5 losses at that point, okay? He just fought and lost to Frank Sanchez. Okay, so he was getting publicity behind his name that he wasn't normally getting. That's why he didn't want to kill the rumor, because if he killed the rumor, then the story would go away. Then people would stop talking about him. Now, wouldn't they? Let's just be real. Let's hit that like button, guys. Let's get 200 likes within 10 minutes. Let's hit the like button. Let's get 200 likes within 10 minutes. Let's go. I was with you that night. Yeah, that was a good night. Tyson has held every belt in boxing. Absolutely. You know, Tyson is the man. Well, Kurt, technically, Fury isn't a real champ yet. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a Wilder fanboy, but you are only a champ until you defend your title and belts. You are right. And that has been Tyson Fury's problem because he is not consistent with what he does. He might get to the mountain, but then he might fall down the same side that he climbed up. You know? He was flugged, not drugged. Dion Doorway. Nothing was wrong with him. This is who he is. Just met a better fighter for once in his life. Well, he doesn't have that type of integrity. Integrity is a thing where you know who you are, and you are aware of, and you're accountable for your actions in a particular situation. Okay, he is not that, and that's why Joshua got 85 fucking million dollars. That's why Deontay Wilder will not and will never get that amount of money. His stupid ass could have got that amount of money, right? But it is what it is. Mark Pringleleaf, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. David Jones, love the channel, bro. Respect. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. Did Wilder have Corona in the fight? Fuck no. If he would have had Corona, that means everybody had that shit. That's bullshit. Boxing Finland had to counterpunch that shit real quick. It's a dangerous thing to say that something was wrong because now everyone expects a change. But if he just gonna get beat badly again, what is he gonna say then? Vic, that's the $1 million question. But at that point, and fair play to Deontay, he has one last chance, people. For all the people that support Deontay Wilder, look, this is not a time to not support him. This is a time to support him. You don't have to believe the bullshit. But see, the problem is, here's the problem. If a lot of time people are leaving Wilder because they don't like the excuses. They don't like the lies. They don't like all the bullshit that he's making up. Okay? And they shouldn't. You shouldn't like any of that shit. You shouldn't respect any of that because you're losing respect from your fans, because like true fans that just like Wilder because he was black, because they thought he was the second coming or whatever the fuck they thought he was. A lot of people are starting to look at him and see him for who he is. Bitter, delusional, hype job, right? A lot of those things. and he's not showing that he respects a loss. As many times in the people that he's beaten, and it only shows you that you only say cool things or good things about the fighters because you were the one that won. That's what it tells us. Let's get let's get another 100 likes, guys. We got 246 people on the chat. Let's get 100 more likes. 10 minutes. Let's go. Hit the like button for me. Reigning and defending. I failed a drug test for probation. Told them I was drugged. I know, right? That's a good thing. I was drugged. I woke up one day, didn't know. I drank some water, passed out. Woke up, a chick was beside me. I had scratches all over my back and buttocks. He was protected before, but this, he was in deep water. ARJ, yes, he was protected. He was protected. I think that Wilder is in a situation now that he has to fight. It's sink or swim, and he's drowning. He's at the bottom of the lake, the bottom of the river, the bottom of the ocean. He's a scuba diver. He better get and kick up and swim. Learn how to swim. Get his bearings back. Don't fucking worry about how you got down to the bottom of wherever that body of water is. Just remember you have to swim to get out of that body of water so you won't drown. That's what Deontay Wilder has to realize. If he doesn't realize that, he won't make it. He's going to drown. He's going to run out of oxygen and he's going to die. Okay? And when I mean he's going to die, he won't succeed. He's going to get beat again. And then what happens? He's still surrounded by the same motherfuckers that he was surrounded by before. And what they're going to do, they're going to tell him a bunch of bullshit. And by that time, he won't believe it. But by that time, people, by that time, it'll be too late. It'll be too late for him. And then people will be like, you know what? Wilder got his ass beat. And all of his fans, all his racist ass LDBC boys will finally look, man, Wilder got his ass beat by a white boy. Right? Because that's what people look at. A lot of people look at that, especially support those channels. And the first thing they'll say is those type words. What the hell? But no, that's that. The weight of the box dragged him on the floor. I don't want to see a third fight. Personally, I'd like to see Fury versus White and AJ versus Wilder. That would be good, Fiat. That would be good. Big Skull, what's up, brother? It's better for the people around Wilder to let him believe his own hype. If he knew the truth, he may as well hang up the gloves now. Wow. Wow. Okay. Wilder was too heavy for his natural weight. He do better at, faster, low hunger. Well, um, that's another factor, and that's like a main factor, but that's something that doesn't really matter. See, none of this really matters because here's the thing. You're trying to make sense, or you're trying to talk sensibly about someone that's not making sense. You know, someone impulsive like that. That do you know what impulsive means, people? That means you do shit without thinking about it. Like he said that shit about that damn costume. He didn't even think it. That was an impulsive fucking remark. Okay? That motherfucker knows damn well they wouldn't know it. That alone couldn't have been the reason. Oh, my legs was gone. You know what I mean? Stop that. You know? Fury made Wilder work at a rate he definitely wasn't used to from the first bell, and that to the extra weight, and Fury was bringing the heat. Yeah, Jerome. I mean, yeah, I believe that. I believe that. I believe that he was in a situation where he had to move backwards a lot. That took a lot of stamina. I think stamina he really didn't have a lot of anyway. You know, because again, I don't think he trained worth a damn for this fight. I think he thought since it was so easy. See, here's the thing. It was difficult to hit Tyson Fury the first fight, but when he hit Tyson Fury, the magic happened. Understand that. The magic happened. Okay, that was a thing where Wilder was like, shit. So in his mind, the second fight, all I gotta do is shit. All I gotta do is hit him. I don't really have to, man. I ain't training hard for this fucking bald headed ass fat dude, right? Arrogance. That's just being arrogant. Unprepared. You're unprepared because your ass is arrogant because you thought all you gotta do is one thing. And that one thing didn't work, did it? No, it did not. Kurt, do you know how good Francisco Pianetta is? No, I don't. I don't at all. Keep it 100. What's good, bro? Hope you are good and well. I think that Fury does need to defend the title to be certified. Yeah, he does. He does. But the thing is, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Wilder has to be, he has to show respect for the next guy. I mean, and honestly, that could have been anybody. Anybody with a pretty good ring IQ could have done that, you know? But it is true. I think a lot of people like Jarrell Washington. He was beating Deontay Wilder until Deontay Wilder hit him, and then what happens when you get hit? It just takes a lot of out of you. Your game plan goes. Like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face. When he hit Washington, Washington wasn't the same. I think fear just flooded his spirit. You know what I mean? So, you know, Tyson didn't, Tyson, okay, you dropped me down, you damn near knocked me out. You probably knocked me out for a few seconds, but I beat the count. So what else you got? Nothing. That's why he fought like he fought. Because he said, this guy has done the worst to me that he could possibly do, and that's that. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. It ain't so bad, and I'm coming to get you. I ain't showed you how hard I can hit, and this is what happened. This is the result. This is what it is. Fury was tapping that ass. Fury started hitting him with punches that he should have been hitting him with in the first fight. If he would have listened to Freddie Roach, and Freddie Roach did say that, be more aggressive with this guy. The only time that Tyson Fury was instinctively more aggressive is when he went down. That wasn't enough. He should have done more. He should have done harder, okay, and pushed that guy back. And in the 12th round, he knew that to be true, what Freddie Roach told him, instructed him, not Ben Davison. Ben Davison left because he didn't like, and him and Freddie Roach didn't see eye to eye because of that. He could have brought Freddie Roach back. Freddie Roach, a cut man. Bullshit. Freddie Roach was there for that second guy because he wanted another opinion. And when Tyson Fury found out that Freddie Roach was right, he was like, you know what? Maybe Freddie Roach is not available. I don't want to make it that blatant, but I am going to check out Javon Hill because I do want to know how to punch and take the fight to a motherfucker, aggressive Kronk style. And that's what he did. And Ben Davis said, no, Mike, don't fix what's not broken, right? Right? And then he's like, no, you coming with me. No, I'm not. I'm not, Tyson. Fuck it, it's over. I'm getting a Starbucks. Right? Let's hit the like button. Let's get 200 likes. Let's get 200 likes. Let's go in the next 5 minutes. Let's get them. Jumping host. Yeah, his costume was too heavy. He had dumbbells hidden in his gloves. He was pregnant. Oh God. Carmen S. Pagers. You read this bronze bomber is gonna get beat again like a fool. Damn. Wilder is making it worse again. Just take your L like a man. Craig Jarner, you're absolutely right. Just it's bad though that he hasn't. And you know what's messed up? It's like what's messed up is that he won't take it like a man. You know, I mean, you don't have to be a bitch about losing, and that's the whole thing. People are saying, and people are seeing that, dude, you're being a bitch about this. Why are you being such a bitch about losing to your first fight? You know what I mean? Methadone clinic detox is for real. Ugh. Methadone. I had a friend on that shit. That's some bad stuff, bro. God bless you. Yeah. Raider from LA Boxing. Trump checks are in for the that who are eligible. Hey, I got my shit, bro. I got my shit. I just checked right before I did the run. Yeah, that shit's in the bank. You know, I'm ready to spin that shit. You know, Timmy Yee, thank you, man. I appreciate it. You know, the impressions. Yeah, yeah. You know, I try, man. James Jameson, Fury got charisma. Yeah. See, and look, character, charisma. Okay, let's look at another fight. Let's look at Muhammad Ali. Okay, Muhammad Ali, he took that loss, but he ensured you like, hey, oh, he's wrong. I do want some of him again. I do want to fight him again. Oh, he's wrong. When he got beat by Frazier, you know, that's just showing who you are as a person, though. And then see, here's the result. Here's the result, though. We can blame the yes men. We can blame the outside influence or the surrounding people of Deontay Wilder. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. I want you guys to pay close attention. We can blame these guys the way his career went and all the choices that they made for him that was piss poor and they weren't the best. You know, the fights he could have took, he didn't. They didn't give him any risk, whatever. He took a risk. February 22nd, he got beat. And regardless of what those guys were to him, this is Deontay Wilder showing who he is as a person. And who he is as a person that refuses to give acknowledgement to the current champ. That's just showing poor sportsmanship. It's showing arrogance. It's showing that you're spoiled. It's showing that you're fucking bitter about something that happened to you. Something you had control over. Oh, I wasn't the same. I was like a zombie. Well, start fucking training like a real boxer. Okay, you're in with real boxers now. You can't hide. They're paying you real money now. Not little bullshit ass Jermell Charlo fucking Lions only money. You're getting fucking paid now. You're gonna fight somebody for it. You're not gonna fight nobody's Arthur Spilkers and fucking Bermain Staverns and shit. You're not gonna fight them no more. You're fighting people that really want to fight and people that are really challenging you. And when they beat you, have enough, hold your head high, like you said in your fucking video. Hold your head high and admit this dude beat me. He was the better man that night. I got beat. I had an off night. You could say that. I get it. You could say I had an off night. It wasn't your best night. But just because it wasn't your best night, you weren't in there, don't mean that wasn't the real me. Who the fuck was it? You were there. He could have faced that media. He could have faced his LDBC brethren and all the other people, Dan Rayfield and all the motherfuckers, Boxing Scene, Fight Hype, Fight Hub, right? All those guys were there. He didn't want to face any of them. Oh, he's going directly to the hospital for examination and then he's getting stringent tests afterwards. What the fuck? Right? He could have went there and at least said, hey, you know, I lost, but I will get it back. I'm exercising the contract. He could have said that night. I will fight. This is the very next fight for me, Tyson Fury. There ain't no doubt about it. Don't ask me no more about a fucking contract signing, anything like that, because it's already activated as of tonight to this day. People would have went, cool, we still rolling with Wilder. Why? Because he's showing, fuck it, I lost, but I'm going to get that shit back. He ain't said none of that shit. He blamed costumes and let people say little makeup shit for him with the drugs and all the gloves and drugs, costumes. It's fucking ridiculous, man. It's ludicrous. Okay? I'm not talking about the rapper. Shit. Fury is the people's champion. Mr. Sun, counterpunch to you, Vic. Imagine having Fury out of the big three to become the fitness instructor. Yeah, he's going to be because look, I'm going to tell you why. It makes more sense. It makes more sense that he would be a fitness instructor because he needs to be moving, running around and shit and exercising to release those, I forget what those are, but you know, when you exercise, it does make you feel better naturally. funniest thing of all is Wilder's biggest weapon and the whole have to be perfect for 1 second. It's almost his worst trait and his worst mistake. His thinking is one dimensional. Yeah, it's always been one dimensional. Look, I stopped liking Deontay Wilder when he said you do not need skill, you just need this right here power. You know, he talked like a true street fighter. A true street fighter, a guy from the street that didn't respect it didn't respect anything about the sweet science of boxing. He didn't at all. He just learned how to throw that fucking one hand. So that's why Tyson Fury was able to do him like he did, because he ain't had nothing else. Have you seen how Wilder throws a left hook? That motherfucker slings it like he's like chunking something. He doesn't even know how to properly turn over a fucking left hook. That lets you know he don't care about throwing it really. I mean, those are just punches that, you know, they you know, hey man, come on, throw the jab for me. You know, I bet you Mark Breland catches hell from Deontay. And he's the most quietest. Right? He ain't like JD's. Mark Breland is a guy that actually was a fighter in the ring, that knows what it's like to lose, knows what it likes to win, golden Olympian, right? And he knew this motherfucker don't listen to me. And he stopped the fight. It was probably his revenge. Like, yeah, I'll teach you, motherfucker. You getting your ass beat right now. You know what? Fuck what JD said. I'm throwing in the towel. You'll listen now, motherfucker. You know what I mean? That could be that. You know, that could be the case. Michael Buffer, check out the AJ interview. He said we'll beat him easy. Yeah, I think I did a video about it a few months ago. I'll check it back out. Just send it to me through whatchamacallit, Facebook, Instagram. You pick one. Ooh, neurological damage. I see. Right? I mean, look. It's one of those things. Why are you so biased? I don't know. I'm not biased, I don't think. I just think a guy should, if he loses, he lose. He lost. See, we never had to say that about Anthony Joshua. See, let me tell you something, William LDBC. If Joshua would be saying all these excuses, would be making all this shit up, and if he said the same shit that Wilder said, oh, I don't think Ruiz is a real champion. He don't look like a real champion to me. You sound like a bitter bitch. And I would have said the same thing about Joshua. So stop. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, Joshua being a little bitch about losing because he's making all these fucking excuses up. Do you understand? Look, you can't talk about bias, William. And you know you're an LDBC guy. You guys follow a certain code over there. You can't be fucking nothing but biased. I mean, shit, you can come here. That's cool. You know what I mean? You can come here, whatever, but understand, you can't ask questions to try to make sense out of questions, right? You used to be LDBC. When did I used to be LDBC, William? When the fuck did I used to be LDBC? I didn't even know what LDBC meant until probably early last year. I was. Okay, William, this is some funny shit. You got my attention. When the fuck was I LDBC? Let's go. They coming for you, Kurt. Fuck them. Let them come. Let them come by the truckloads. And they all get counter slapped over in this bitch. Because it's like, it's like you used to be LTB. I have you in videos. You have me in videos doing what and saying what? Let's get it out in the open. This is a live chat. This ain't boxing ego. I'm not gonna block you. I'm not gonna talk shit at you. Well, I might talk shit at you, but it'll only be truth. Okay? I mean, gentleman's game. Everybody was beating Wilder until he caught him with the right hand. It's just the right hand did not work. Okay? It no longer worked. Don't cuss Kurt like that. Okay, Brittany, I'll chill. I'll chill. Okay. Smooth Will. Hey, Kurt, remember Tony Ayala? Oh yeah, Tony Ayala, the rapist, back in the day. You look great. You think he could have been before he got locked up? I don't know. You know, and then I think dude, it's just look, Tony Ayala. Um, who else is in that category? Ike Barabucci. Um, Carlos Baldemir, kind of. Yeah, Carlos Baldemir. He's in that category. He's probably one of the worst cases, though, because he actually had a full career. So, no, let's kick him out. Who else was a part of that shit? That was, they just had inner demons, man. Like Tony Ayala, because Smooth Will, do you know that they caught him again, right? And he raped some other girl. Yeah, it's fucked up. A few years ago, maybe about 5 years ago, and you know, but no, the Ike Barabucci, that motherfucker, man, he was probably one of the best. He was the best prospect in the '90s. He could have beat a lot of people. He probably would. I would have loved to see him with Tyson Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. If he would have, I would have picked him to beat at least two out of three of those guys. But he just didn't have it all. He was, facing inner demons. He said there were demons in the fucking air conditioning or something, and he tried to run him and his nephew. He ran him and his nephew into a brick wall. It's fucking crazy, man. So yeah. And Tony Ayala, he was a good prospect, man, but he was just, inner demons, dude. If you have to handle your affairs before focusing on the ring ain't the savior a lot of times. It helps people get out of shit. It helps them get paid, relocate, and all that. But you know, you have to handle your inner demons. And then in that case, you need more help. A lot of people need help. Mental illnesses, right? Vic, more views for Kurt. Nice, I know, right? Yeah, Porter is legit one of my favorite fighters. I like Sean Porter. Sean Porter is like the go-to clean cut PBC fighter. They got a hit out on me. Okay, well, let them come. When you say you like Wilder, they think you means you LDBC. I mean, it's things about fighters that I do like, but this is one of the things I don't, and his ass is getting counterpunched for it. That's it. You know, just because I say something like I like Erislandy Lara, he's a PBC fighter, right? So it's um, Keith Thurman. I like Keith Thurman. I think Keith Thurman will be a commentator when he retires boxing. He will be. Like watch. Keith Thurman will be a PBC commentator or some other commentator when it comes Showtime or something. Him, Paolo Malignaggi, and another old white guy. you know, they will be there. Commentating boxing. He'll be getting one of those checks. You know. Fury should wear some costume Wilder wore for his ring walk on the third fight. How funny that would be. Yeah, that would be some crazy shit, Marine. That would be crazy. He's on a new show, Bitch Slap. He said, "You are a fraud. You lying to the fans. How? How so, William LDB to the C? How am I lying to the fans? You ask yourself, are you lying to yourself? Maybe you're lying to yourself. That's some shit you say in a crowd of motherfuckers. You're lying to the fans! You're a liar! You're a fraud! Get off me! Get off me! The second fight, they fought for 63 minutes. Oh, 6 3-minute rounds, and in 18 minutes he couldn't be good for 1 second of it. Ha ha ha. Yep, that's what happens when you rely too much on power, chum. That ain't gonna always get the job done. I might block and talk shit though. Keep the respect. I know Zaro's 2 time. Got the power. Thank you for being non-biased. Much respect from England. Mr. Williams, appreciate you. Thank you. Time to eat, Kurt. Go get him. Yeah, it's time to swallow him whole, man. Swallow him whole. I should add nothing. I should add not just listening, but to implement the boxing skills needed to beat his opponent. Think we need to give him a chance. Look at AJ. He can. Yeah, you look. Here's the thing, though. Joshua wasn't talking mad shit. In fact, it was Ruiz talking that shit. Ruiz was calling him a robot, stiff, can't fight, can't box. He said all that shit. I ain't fighting in the UK. I'm the king. I ain't fighting nowhere. He needs to come to the USA. In fact, let's come to Mexico. Right? He had it. He had Lennox Lewis backing him. It should be in Mexico. Right? You used to be in the LDB. Kind of like a fucking bot troll or some shit. You can only say like 3 quotes. You know what I mean? On the chat undercover. That's it. Yeah. Wilder is the true Alabama Dawson. Ooh. To this day. Damn, Ricky B went hard on him. Wilder will never hold a belt ever again. Let that sink in. Ooh. The age of Wilder is over. Feels nice to know that the belt is not hostage no more. Well, we got to see. Got to get, we got to see what Fury does in the third fight. Williams gonna cry. No, he gonna cry in the car. Sprung 11. Wilder never beat an elite level fighter. You know what? He has. Um, Wilder has beat an elite level fighter. He just picked an old one. And you know what's fucking strange about that is Deontay Wilder, did he say, well, Vladimir was old. Vladimir wasn't the same person he was. He got beat. Luis Ortiz was undefeated. Last I heard, right? You know, Kurt works for the zone, not him. I do not fucking work for the zone, man. You know, nothing against the zone. I like how the zone bought the HBO Vault. Vault, if you guys understand the vault of all those HBO fights, Whitaker De La Hoya, Whitaker Chavez, Chavez De La Hoya, um, Trinidad De La Hoya, De La Hoya Mosley, De La Hoya Mosley 2. You have a lot of fights that the zone got from HBO. See, you can either go, if you guys got HBO Go, which probably some of you don't. If you guys in the UK, I don't know if you can watch HBO over there, but they have HBO Go. And if you look, they don't have any sports on that shit no more. So that tells you they release rights to those. That's why a lot of people can use HBO content now because HBO doesn't even have a sports section to even dispute using their shit. Try that shit with CBS or ESPN and see what happens to you. You can get flagged. I think he's trolling. Yeah, he is trolling. Wilder will never fight AJ. I got a video to do because they had a recap, kind of like a lot of different interviews with Eddie Hearn and all the times he tried to make that fight with Deontay Wilder and all that shit. You know, Ike was a real tough guy, but mad as a box of frogs. Yeah, he boxing legends. Yeah, the fucking guy was off the chain. I mean, he was really, and I think he was bipolar. If I had to think, I think he was just a bipolar. bipolar guy. Um, I think he was that dude that he should have been on some type of meds, but if he was on those meds, you know, would it really be, you know, would he be the same type of fighter? Because a lot of those meds take a lot out of you, just trying to nullify what's going on with you. But the side effect is you can't do things you used to do. You know what I mean? Like it fucks with your libido and a lot of stuff like that. So, Jim Trump, do you think Wilder fans really expect Wilder costume excuse along with all the other excuses? The costume excuse was hilarious. I can't believe that he said that Wilder's a joker. Well, no, Jim. Jim Trump. He no. They don't believe it. That's why they've made up so many other different things. They had to make those up because what he said didn't make sense to them. So them, which is Wilder's fans, had to create something that made sense to them. You know what I mean? So it's one of those situations like, okay, that don't make sense, so we got to create something that does make sense. And that's it. As long as I've been on Kurt's channel, I've never heard him advocate the LDPC. No, I mean, I don't hate the dudes. It's just I know those channels were created, and when you start believing certain ways of how you're supposed to think, you cannot have an independent channel. You just can't. And you cannot say things the way you really feel or the way things really are because you have to worry about what someone else has to say about it. That's the problem with the LDBC. Those channels have to be consistent in the way they think. That's why they are the type of guys that they are and the channels that they advocate in the way that they post news. Okay? So it is what it is. Lion Den's boxing community. That's what LDBC. But there's a lot of channels out there. You know what I mean? Those guys, and it's a market for them because here's the deal: if you have a lot of, you have a lot of, if you didn't have a lot of black channels, I think they were the ones that filled that percentage. Okay, they filled that void. You know, I forgot Kurt worked with his own. Oh God, Scants Rants. There you go. I do not fucking work for the zone, man. Ike was a dangerous dude. English guy, he was. Ike was a very dangerous cat. Let's get 200 likes. We got 40 more to go. Let's get it. 5 minutes. Everybody hit the like button that jumps on the channel. And Sprung 11, you know, it's bad when you get labeled as a racist hate group. You know what I mean? It's bad because see, I think some of those channels are more radical than others. Like you have, I don't care what anybody says. Boxing Ego is an LDBC channel. It just is. He just is you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, I'm an affiliate. I'm a Rent Center in Rack, dude. Rack is a part of Rent Center. You know what I mean? That's Boxing Ego. He's an LDBC guy. So, but a lot of them preach the same type of stuff. They believe the same type of ways. That's that. It is what it is. I know people that believe that mosquitoes buzzing around had surveillance cameras. Okay, let's get the undisputed between AJ and Fury, please. Ricky B, that won't happen until Deontay Wilder gets his third shot. That's it. You know, no fairy tales, no conspiracy. No, it is what it is. Wilder will get his shot. That's it. He will get his opportunity to fight Fury a fucking again. And that's only confirmation enough to know, hey, I don't want that Joshua fight, but he can't fight Joshua anyway. That's why everyone's looking at Fury to fight Joshua. Fury took his chances. See, the chance that Deontay Wilder had, Fury took the shit away, people. Do you understand that, right? Who would you like to see Danny Jacobs fight next? Brittany, I would like to see Danny Jacobs fight Caleb Plant. I know it's going to be hard. He fights on the zone. He's a matchroom fighter, but that fight could happen, Brittany. You know how? Because people don't know this, but Danny Jacobs is still advised by Al Heyman. He just has a promoter, Eddie Hearn. Okay? See, if people would fucking follow the blueprint of Danny Jacobs instead of Floyd Mayweather, which they don't even know how to follow that blueprint, honestly. They know how to perpetrate like they follow it, but they don't really follow it. It's like reading the Bible. I'm gonna believe half this shit and leave the other shit alone, right? So that's what they're doing. Danny Jacobs has a good setup. He fights on the zone. He's a matchroom fighter, but he's advised with Al Heyman. So Al Heyman could get that fight together with Caleb Plant. And why do I say Caleb Plant? He's an undefeated fighter. He's a very good champion up there. He's one of those underrated guys, according to Jacobs. Danny Jacobs said that Caleb Plant's a good fighter, but he's on the low end. Okay, so he wouldn't really consider them one of those guys that would be the top echelon. If he feels that way, I think he should fight that guy first. You see what I'm saying? So I think it should be Caleb because of that reason, Brittany. And you've been counterpunched. AJ and White would do Wilder probably. AJ and White would do Wilder probably faster than Fury, and they're both hard. Well, boxing legends, understand something too. Wilder's quick on his feet. I think Fury and Joshua have the lateral movement to deal with the right hand. But understand something about Wilder's right hand. That shit is quick. That's his weapon. That's his solitary weapon. It's a dangerous weapon. And he can throw it at weird times. And he'll catch you off guard. And like he's caught Fury. Fury's a fast, quick fighter. So don't think that won't, like, people are writing, you guys are misconstruing everything. The possibilities of White and Joshua getting to Deontay Wilder, it could happen. But then it's also, what could happen is Deontay Wilder could catch those guys with that right hand. Now, how would that right hand affect those guys? That remains to be seen. But that could also be the case. See, this is a fair channel. I'm not just going to bash Deontay Wilder like, oh, he'll just get beat up. Yeah, we've seen it happen. We've seen Fury do it. So, of course, it could happen. But will it happen? Okay? So that's one thing people need to understand. The first thing someone does and sees a guy gets his ass whooped, the first thing they think, I could do that too. Now, fair play. White did say, I would beat up Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua said, I would beat up Deontay Wilder. I would take the fight to him. I would go to knock him out. They both said that before the Fury rematch. So fair play to them. But guess what? It didn't happen. It's been documented that they said they could do that before the Fury fight, but we haven't seen it done. Will it happen? Or can it happen, should I say? And that's my counterpunch on that. Why would Joshua fight Wilder? He has nothing to offer. No, the shit talk, the build up, the speculation, curiosity. It would sell. But it wouldn't sell as good as if Wilder gets his ass beat again. No, it wouldn't do as well, but it would do pretty good. But at that point, I think Wilder would be too hurt, and I think he would just want to continue his true passion, and his true passion is acting. That's what I think he would do, and if that's the case, he should. And the yes men have proved him shit throughout his career, and they've yesed him on right on out of the door. It is what it is. We got 20. Let's get 20 more likes to get 200 likes, people. Let's go. 5 minutes. Hit the like button. I expect you, bro, because you tell it as it is. Even as an American, you don't make excuses. Why make excuses for any fighter, any man? Don't matter where the fuck you from. Don't matter what color you are. Don't matter any of that shit. Don't matter how much money you make per fight. That doesn't matter. What matters is, are you a good boxer? See, I see things. I'm for the guy I'm always really for the underdog, believe it or not, because I'm looking for people because it's boxing is so political to the point where you have fighters that are handpicked and they are picked because they don't supposed to win. It's too many fights like that. It's fights you be like, man, I ain't seen that motherfucker in 5 years. He ain't fought since 2017. How is he gonna fight in 2020? He probably had a 2 year layoff. And they just snatch him up, give him about 30 grand or 60 grand and go in there and get his ass beat up by a dude that's been fighting as of last, fucking a month ago. He's active. There's too much of that happening. So what happens when the wrong person wins? That's when things get real. That's the best moments in time for me. Upsets are the best thing. That means the underdog, the person that didn't supposed to do what he's supposed to do something that he didn't do or he's never done. That's the significance of it. That guy's blessed. Now they got to pay this motherfucker for the rematch, right? More than they will ever pay anybody, pay him anytime in his career. So he's probably made in one night, and he probably will make in one night. Look at Andy Ruiz. He made in one night more than he made his whole fucking career, probably 3 or 4 or 5 times over. And that's just June 1st. We ain't talking about December 8th. So yes, dreams do come true. I love it when shit like that happens because it don't normally happen because of the politics in boxing. Okay? That's just keep it how it is, man. Wilder who. I like Laura Rigo, but they are as entertaining as watching paint dry. Amok PvP. Um, those guys also, fair play to Lara. Lara was a guy, and he's an Al Heyman guy. You know what I mean? Lara made his own way. And what I mean by that, Lara was a guy that his first loss was bullshit. He wanted to fight Canelo. Canelo didn't want to fight him, and we knew Canelo was the cash cow. He was the second Mayweather, up and coming, and he took it upon himself to make a fight with Canelo Alvarez, and it worked. It was a very close. It wasn't a close fight. Lara beat him 8 rounds to 4, but of course, they gave it to Canelo. The point I'm trying to make is, what happened after that for Lara? Lara then after that, his name was mentioned. A lot of controversy was stirred up around that particular fight, and because of that, he was able to get a mix. He was a 7-figure fighter after that. Facts. Each fight he made over $1 million. He couldn't do that if he didn't get that Canelo fight. So certain things are, the win isn't really always in the ring. It's the win is sometimes the morality of what happens outside the ring. So fair play to Lara, right? As long as Thurman replaces Lennox, I'm cool with that. Hey, that would be good. Julian Davis. Counterpunch to you. Get Lennox Lewis out of there. Lennox Lewis should be training some fucking body. He shouldn't be a commentator. That motherfucker calls the wrong names all the time. Yeah, Damien. Yeah, Damien. It's Daryl. Oh yeah, Daryl, Damien. Fuck out of here, man. Curtis Illuminati. Damn. I hope not. Yeah, Jim Brown. Ike Barabucci did beat Chris Bird. He knocked Chris Bird the fuck out in 5 rounds, Joshua. He sure did. And he didn't play. He didn't box Chris Bird. He knocked him the fuck out. See, if Wilder was that type of dude, and you know what? He was getting that reputation. I might not can fight. I might not can box like that. But if I hit you, I'm going to knock you out. You got to respect that, though. All came crashing down February 22nd. I'm sorry. He can't say that no more. Because he wasn't that dude that got the job done no matter what the cost was. He might be getting pounded on by a 40-year-old Cuban fighter that wants to tear your head off. You know what I mean? But he came back and did what he did, even though I think he got a lot of rabbit punches, too many rabbit punches, but he did knock out Luis Ortiz, right? He got the win. He knocked out Dominic Brazil, right? Another viral videos, another viral highlights, knocking out Dominic Brazil. I'm gonna pay for your funeral arrangements. All right. So he was the resistance for the while. Now his shit's been conquered. He can't be LDBC. He has a brain and thinks for himself. Yeah, I think for myself. I don't have a brain to be like someone else. It's just me. You know? White is average heavyweight. Wilder would chin that guy. Scance rants, that could happen. That very well could happen. You know, and that would be some shit. All the shit talk, all the trash talk, all the animosity, all the build up, all the waiting, and all that shit. And it came down to, you know what? Wilder did say that though. He did mention that. I don't know if he was talking. Now he was talking about Dillian White. He was like, "Yeah, that's what I want to see. Keep winning because you got a guy in the ring that's been waiting so long to fight me. Then he got the opportunity. That's gonna create a lot of energy, right?" He said that. So it is what it is. D Major, I will do exactly that. Jim Brown, I wouldn't be surprised if you were serious about that comment. Richard Powell is Kurt, bad boy. I'm from Nottingham. Counterpunch to you, sir. You are the baddest Deontay Wilder hater in the world. Damn, BJR. You know what? People that think I'm a Deontay Wilder hater, they probably they listen to a little bit what I say. Oh, shelf him. He's a Wilder hater. I say positive shit about Wilder all the time. You just don't catch it because a lot of people are sensitive to what you hear about a fighter that you support. And I think that's the problem. I think the problem is a lot of people, I might say four things good about Wilder, but if I say fucking 10 things bad, they're going to see, oh, he's a hater. I just call it the way I see it. There's not much to say good about Wilder right now. There just ain't. It is what it is. Olin Riffle, why doesn't Wilder take the L like a man and move on? There is always that number one person or that one person that has your number. That's true. And counterpunch to you, thank you for the super chat, Olin Riffle. That is absolutely true. Just that's all I want. Take it like a man. I would praise Wilder for taking it like a man. Just like I praised him for exercising the rematch clause. Just like I praise him for, hey, you give him respect because he had it in the contract. Okay? Those are all what I said positive about Wilder. He's taking his shot. He's not bitching out. He's not, taking step money. No, I mean, he's doing what he feels he needs to do. That's it. See, this is what I like. Non-biased boxing content. You and Ring IQ definitely keep it real. I mean, what else could we do? Because, see, here's the thing. There's enough channels that say certain things that don't keep it real. That don't, they have to speak for certain fighters in a certain way or they won't get exclusive content. I know what this shit is. I already know what it is. Boxing Ego, same shit. Like Deontay Wilder told Boxing Ego, I'll look at your channel now. I like what you be saying. Right? He says that because he knows. And look, Boxing Ego can't say as of right now that's confirmed. When I can sit down with Deontay Wilder, he can sit down with me, and then that's good for my views because it's an exclusive interview with a former champ or a prize fighter. You know what I mean? Especially one that has over what does he have 2 million followers now? Million followers on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Yeah, you know. Kurt, genuine journalism without an agenda. That's it. Don't have an agenda. Just call it like it is. I like Keith Thurman. I think Keith Thurman, he changed his energy after he got so far. And see, that's what happens with fighters. And you can tell when fighters get what, how do I say? They meet their expectations and they get what they want out of the sport. And when that happens, you see the difference. You see that particular person and you see what that person was after and what that person wanted. Look at Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, he was broke. He didn't have no money. He has 5 kids and a wife. The man was struggling. He had to pay Bob Arum's fucking ass money to get out of the contract. Then he goes over to Al Heyman. He gets one fight. He's still struggling. He begs Eddie Hearn for a fight. He gets that fight because Jarrell Miller fucked up. Then he beats Anthony Joshua in Madison Square Garden. But what happens after that? He gets $7 million. His problem is solved. Okay? So then he stopped training. He started partying. He kept eating. Nobody could tell him shit. Who could tell a motherfucker with $7 million what to do? Let's be real. Who could really say that? Who could tell him, hey man, you need to train? Oh, fuck you. I'm training. Eating wings. Pollo frito. I love it. Pass me the corona. Right? Same thing for Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman beat Danny Garcia. He became um, a multiple belt holder, a unified belt holder, the WBC and the WBA, right? That he didn't want anything more. He didn't want to fight Errol Spence because Errol Spence to him was not big enough. That's Keith Thurman. He didn't look at Errol Spence like Errol Spence is a very good fighter, aggressive young fighter coming up, and it took him years to get where he was. So did Keith Thurman. It's just Keith Thurman did it first, and Keith Thurman was like, well, why the fuck should I fight you? Why? Because Mayweather said so, and we know that's where that came from. See, Keith Thurman didn't see it that way. Keith Thurman was like, okay, another tough fighter. I don't want to fight nobody. I don't need to take these fights. In fact, I got a little tennis elbow problem. I'm gonna go fix that shit. Oh, then I'm gonna fix my shoulder. Right? I'm gonna do everything but fight this motherfucker because I don't want to. I don't need to. It's not paramount to me. He's not hungry for it because he already got what he wants. People, he has what he wants. He's a unified welterweight champion, and that reaches his ceiling for his expectations in his career. Keith Thurman really should retire. He should have retired for the Pac-Man fight, but he did want to fight a top elite legend like Floyd or Manny. He got Manny. So now after this, he's saying he wants to revamp his career. We just got to see how serious he is because from what I could see about Keith Thurman, really reached his peak, and I don't think he fulfilled what he needed to fulfill in the sport of boxing. And he fought a good fight against Manny Pacquiao. And honestly, if it wasn't for the knockdown, that fight could have been a draw. Let's be real about it because he started to come on in the later rounds and catching Manny with flush shots. Just Manny's one tough mother sucker, right? So, but no, I like Keith Thurman. He just was starting being a cherry picker because he was ducking Errol Spence. He didn't want that fight. You know what I mean? And it didn't help him talking about Terrence Crawford either. That didn't help. So it is what it is. Okay, John Cable, call me Nostradamus, but I predicted Wilder will never hold another belt again. You can't say never though, because we don't know how the heavyweight division's going to be. Because all it takes, people, all it takes is Joshua losing those belts. Okay, if he loses it to one person, right? Okay, for example, boxing is strange, people. I've been watching boxing a long time, long before 2018. You know what I mean? Boxing is, people don't keep those unified championship belts long anyway. Ask Tyson Fury. He lost the shit before he lost the IBF before he could even fucking defend the shit. Real talk. He lost it either 10 days after, 15 days after. Right? So it is what it is. But if he loses to Pulev. Pulev's next fight, Pulev might lose it the very next fight. You know what I mean? And if he doesn't start fulfilling mandatories, that's what happens. Because if Pulev beats Joshua, then guess who would have to fight Alexander Usyk? Pulev. Right? If he doesn't fight Usyk, then that belt strip, there goes the WBO. He has the WBA and the IBF left. Right? Well, a lot of things can happen in the sport. Those belts break up some kind of way, and Usyk fights for it and gets it, and he's a champion, and then Fury's still the WBC champion if he beats Deontay Wilder. It's a lot of shit. And he has to fight Dillian White for it, right? A lot of things could happen with that, man. A lot. Fury let's get the next level Crunk style and destroy him even more next time. I mean, Fury now the A side. All the press conferences will be bad for Deontay Wilder the third fight. Moonshine underscore Blade. Let me tell you something. That is what I'm looking forward to see. Besides the fight, the shit talk, the build up, the press conferences, and don't be surprised if they will do another little bullshit like, oh, we won't have press conferences this fight. Why the hell not? You know what I mean? Because these press conferences are going to be off the chain. Tyson Fury might come in a fucking Black Panther suit. He might come in and shit with a big ass. You know what I mean? Look, Tyson Fury might do some shit that he might do some shit, just some outlandish shit. Because Tyson Fury's a fucking crazy, wild, hair up his ass kind of motherfucker anyway. So he might do anything. He might, it's no telling, man. It's no telling about that. You know. Hey, amok PvP. Yeah, he got married too. Yeah, Fury got a wife. It's time to cash checks and have sex. You know what I'm saying? Like Adrian Broner. Time to cash checks and have sex. you know. Brittany, next Wilder's fanboys will say he was drugged and that's why he felt like a zombie. Brittany, too late, baby. They've already saying that. Facts. Young Pharaoh Khan, little dude, already said that. How do we know? How do we know? How do we know that he wasn't drugged? Huh? How do we know that he wasn't drugged? We don't know that. Tyson Fury didn't drink none of his water because he knew that the water was spiked. I'm like, what the fuck is this dude on? I can't make this shit up. Brittany, you're too late, baby. That's already in the fucking rumor pool. Knockout. Do you really think Wilder hits as hard as Big George Foreman? No, he doesn't. Because see, George Foreman hits you also. He hits you everywhere with each punch. He chopped with the left hand. He chopped with the right hand. He worked to the body. He did a lot more than Joshua with just one straight rocket. You know what I mean? Deontay don't fucking punch to the body like that. Okay? He's a head hunter. Wilder will still crush Anthony Joshua. That may be. But then here's the thing. You have to look both sides. I know, look, when you say he will still crush Anthony Joshua, you're a Wilder fan, but you have to consider the possibilities. I'm not saying it's wrong what you're saying. I'm saying that when you're a fan of something, you have to understand the possibilities, right? Of that shit backfiring. What could Joshua do? In defense. So, Yid Army, Kurt, have you ever known a fighter tell his mandatory he's going to make him wait 2 years to fight him was the... Yid Army. Yes, he was ducking White. He didn't want to fight White. And I think he didn't want to fight White because his promoter was white. I'm just going to be real. I think that's what it was. I think that, Wilder knew that he didn't want to fight Dillian White. I mean, no one really made him fight mandatories. So, I mean, that should show you the level of protection that he was under anyway. Okay? So, it didn't really matter at that point where the shit was coming from because he didn't have to fight White. The WBC didn't make him fight his mandatories. The motherfucker, I think, in four and a half years, he fought 2, 3 mandatories. They didn't make him do that like talking about. They even they made a deal with fucking Dominic Brazil for, I think Dominic beat someone. I can't remember who he beat. But then they just gave him the opportunity to be the mandatory. Then all of a sudden, oh, I gotta fight my mandatories, right? And then that was a big question mark, and that's why everybody blasted the WBC and called them we be crooks and all that shit, because of what they were doing or what they weren't enforcing. And what they weren't enforcing, they weren't enforcing the mandated number one champion. The number one challenger is the person that fucking is the mandatory. People know that. But it wasn't so for Dillian White. So yeah, he was ducking Dillian White. And then on top of that, I think the other reason is, like I said, he didn't like Dillian White because Dillian White wasn't a PBC fighter. He wasn't Matchroom. He wasn't promoted by Al Heyman, which is a black guy, and everybody fell for that bullshit. And then, and Deontay Wilder, he's feeding into that shit too. And he looked at Dillian White just like he looks at Anthony Joshua. A black man is being milked by a white guy. That's what he said. That's how he believes. Speak it, believe it, receive it. That's what he's doing. And that's how I feel about it. Yeah, English guy. I mean, Porter's gonna fight anyone. His dad, raised him right, trained him to be a fighter. He's a guy that he makes the PBC. He helps the reputation of the PBC. He does. He's not like the Charlos. They drop like Errol Spence and all that shit. You know what I mean? Those guys are like Thurman, Sean Porter. You don't see those guys like that. They're not the controversial guys that's in the newspaper or talking shit over Twitter and all that. You know what I mean? They're not that type of people. You know, nothing wrong with them because I mean, everybody can't be like Sugar Ray Leonard. You know what I mean? Floyd Patterson and shit like that. Not everyone's like that. You got to have a Sonny Liston like guy, bad guy every so often. He's not adding anything to the conversation or live. Are you talking about Mr. LDBC Williams? Well, that's why I ain't heard him. I'm saying he's one of them guys in the crowd of people. You're a fraud. Deontay Wilder made the huge mistake of underestimating Tyson Fury in the rematch. Yep, I agree. Wilder still has similar footwork since the Olympics to this day. Yep. Wilder ain't the worst champ of all time. Hello, Leon Spinks. But if he is the representative of the black champion, at least teach him side to side in self defense. Well, I mean that's Nathaniel Murphy. That's the problem. What we have. Candy Crush. The hell was that? But AJ was out of time in New York after June 1st, getting roasted too, but still showed his face. Yeah, I mean, he was around driving bikes and shit. He was chilling, you know what I mean? It didn't hurt him like that, and if it did, he didn't really show it. He was more like the poker face and shit. He still laughed. He still, laughed it off. That's how you're supposed to do it. And, even like, and I hate rejection. I hate defeat. I'd be more pissed off and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, he beat Ortiz past his prime. That was the point. They didn't want to fight Ortiz when he was 35, 36. He would have fucked up Wilder. Wilder would have been looking, it was all a plan. So good job to the management. They milked Deontay Wilder. They started him out slow. They padded his resume. They gave his resume. They dressed it up. They made it look good. They gave him opponents that he could defeat, and then he went to the top and then got a draw, got hurt in another fight, and then got his ass beat in another fight. So that's what happens when you start raising the opposition. That's it. Damn, insulting your parents. What the fuck would they insult your parents for, Timmy Yee? That's crazy. They release the endorphins. What do I think about box rec rating? I don't know. I mean, they're all right, I guess. Ooh, Wilder versus Usyk. I don't know, because I can tell you this. I forget the name of the guy that beat Wilder, that gave him the bronze. The reason why he has the bronze medal in the Olympics, he was a shorter guy too. So I know you may give Wilder some problems, but my thing is, what if Wilder hits him? You know, what if he hits Usyk and knocks him the fuck out? That skill don't mean shit when I hit you with my grit. Alabama, Brom Squad. Yeah. Because, well, this is lucky AJ was his last fight. The fourth round would have not happened. I want to see Parker and Joshua rematch. Only this time an American referee who lets you get close. Jedi Knight. You know what they need? They need Steve Smoger, the same guy that refereed Andre and Chad Dawson. He let you fight yourself out. That would be a pretty good fight. Because see, that referee was more like a Kenny Bayless style. So I get what you're saying. I hate them type. When you see a clinch, doesn't mean you have to see what a fighter and how a fight develops and how it progresses. Okay, you're gonna have guys in a clinch. Because what happens, a lot of people clinch. It's not because they're holding each other. It's because two fucking people are coming together at one time and they're pressed up against each other because they're trying to earn that dominance. They're trying to show that I'm pushing you back. Okay, versus and if they do that, they're refusing to move position. One's not gonna let the other one back him into the ropes. That's stupid. Because if he gets against the ropes, he could then turn out and start working them. You know what I mean? So it's just they're trying to show their dominance, right, in position. That's how a lot of clinches are. That's what happens. You know? So and it's one of those things where a lot of times, you can punch yourself out of the clinch, like Richard Seal said, punch yourself to get out. Punch and get out, right? He with the gap and shit in his mouth. So agreed. Fury beats AJ, but AJ definitely beats Wilder. And that might be Wilder beats AJ, but AJ beats Fury. See, people, it's just like one of those things because there is no way Wilder, because I could see, I'm envisioning AJ hurting Wilder. You know what AJ would do to Wilder if he hurt Wilder? And see, and the bad thing about Wilder is Wilder gets hurt. What did he do against Ortiz? Not a fucking thing. He went back in the corner and he balled the fuck up. If that happened to Anthony Joshua would hurt that guy. Imagine Anthony Joshua hitting him with that right uppercut. That wouldn't be a pretty sight. Okay. Now Wilder could get him with the right hand, but then Joshua, if Joshua has you hurt, he's gonna finish you. And see, Deontay Wilder ain't no Andy Ruiz. He ain't gonna fight on the inside. He's gonna ball the fuck up and try to take those shots and defend those shots, and at the same time try to recover with the time that he has. But he don't have no time when somebody's like like Wilder said, I was just trying to get out of the whirlwind. Yeah, well, you got a whirlwind coming if Joshua hurts you. See, that's the thing. Joshua's an inside fighter because his admirers are inside shorter fighters. So that's why Joshua throws uppercuts and left hooks. Man, right uppercut, left hook. That won't be good for Wilder. Either they're gonna stop it because when they see Wilder's getting hit like that, he has no inside game. Think about it. Wilder's a rangy, long fighter. He wants to catch you at the end of those shots. When you get inside him, mid-range, it ain't no good for him. His arms are too long. He can't generate no power. And the one punch he does throw? Let's say your head's here. He's going to start hitting you right here like he did Fury in the last fight. Tell me I'm wrong. He starts hitting you behind the head. He starts hitting you behind the head. He has no inside game, bro. So, yeah, You know what I mean? He can get him on the inside, but Wilder might can get him on the outside. You know? Like keep sending offers, and Wilder said he doesn't chase peasants and went on to fight Brazil. Yeah, a leftover from Joshua though. Another fucking leftover, right? Oh, he's my mandatory. You know? Ernie Shavers was a bouncer in Liverpool for years. Jedi Master, I didn't know that. Wilder made a big mistake turning down $100 million. Yep, that's true. Who'd you pick, AJ versus Fury or White versus Wilder? I don't know. That's a very good question. Get in there and show some candies to crush, bro. I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know if I don't know. I didn't know if I had that shit on this phone. Who you pick, AJ? Okay, let's see if Fury makes it back after Corona. He's known to prefer crack over everything. Oh, that ain't right. Ortiz was banned for a while because of the drugs that he had in the system. And that's true. Wrong, Barry B. White turned down Ortiz because that was Wilder's demands, not the WBC's. In Brazil, ducked White to fight Wilder. Zaros, that's not all the way true. No, that's not. What White, see, Brazil didn't duck White. Brazil was going to fight White. But then the WBC, after Tyson Fury pulled out of that negotiation and joined with ESPN because they were going to fight for 50-50, right? After he did that, then they re established Brazil as the mandatory. So he took that route. You know what I mean? And he was the mandatory once again. So who the fuck, if you're Brazil, who are you going to fight? Wilder or White? You know what I mean? You're going to fight Wilder. I mean, it just makes sense. You know? Wilder didn't even fight a single one of the Mandos he was supposed to. No, he didn't. Down Blaster. Keep up the excellent work. Counterpunch to you, sir. Man, I was waiting for you, man. I was waiting for you. I was in this thing. You know? So, hey, pop on there. We'll get it started. We'll get it started. Tekken style. Rob Riv shows live 01. Blue Blood Sports always comments opposite opinion of counterpunch boxing. Hey, that's it. Hey, man, you have a yin, you got to have a yang, right? Hell with it. Let it be. The type of guy who will offer you a 24-hour special 50 million to fight in a YouTube video, and then when you send the manager, you send it to your manager in New York to meet the manager, he will decline meeting him. That is exactly what happened. Hey, is exactly what happened. Let's just be real. See, um, they gave a 24-hour deadline. That shit, come on, you don't give a 24-hour deadline. Come on, man. You know, that's just some bullshit, you know? Take it or leave it. That's just, I don't want to talk about that no more. I'm tired of talking about that shit. Really, I am. Wilder only fought three contenders, and the rest were journeymen. You know, Ortiz's resume is garbage. Well, what Tony Thompson, Brian Jennings, who else did he beat? Malik Scott. Now Malik Scott, that win, that knockout that Wilder supposedly, that's just suspect to me, man. I question that. I do. You know, Ruiz versus Wilder. That sounds kind of far down the trough right now. Ortiz's resume is better than Rivas. I don't know because I'm gonna tell you why. They both beat Jennings, right? Both by stoppages, and Malik Scott, Tony Thompson. Let's look. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're really kind of got the same. At least Rivas fought White. So he has White, Jennings. Let's see old Oscar Rivas. Mm. He's kind of like a new kid on the block, though. So let's take a look at this cat. Dude looks like a cyborg. He looks like a cyborg from the movie Cyborg. No one really has a golden resume. Yeah, that is true. Let's look at this. Okay, he lost to Dillian White, beat Brian Jennings. See, a lot of these guys I've never heard of, honestly. So you're right in a sense, but if he would have beat White, right? He did drop White in the ninth round with the same uppercut that caught White's ass with the Joshua fight. So it is what it is. AJ Styles is all wrong for Fury. Okay. Daniel Dubois is some prospect. Still early, though. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, guys, I think that to counterpunch this whole argument, Deontay Wilder, you know, now I don't know. I think Joshua's left hook is a little bit has a little bit more stank on it. But White does have a decent left hook, but I don't think it's like Joshua's. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. You know, but I think Wilder, should just be a man about his defeat. Stop making up excuses. Respect the champ. Respect the present champ. You know, and maybe that may gain him some respect in the future. Okay, because it's not all about winning all the time. You have to show spirit and positivity when you lose. Okay? But you have to admit you lost. You can't say, oh, I wasn't right. It wasn't me. It wasn't you. I wasn't right. When what happened? When you lost. Okay? So he needs to look in the mirror, accept the reality of things, focus and concentrate on how he lost and get better. But that's it. I think that that's what Wilder should do, and let's see if he does it. But anyway, guys, thank you for the chat. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that came on. We'll see how things progress later on in the future. Of course, guys, please subscribe, leave your comments below. And everyone on the chat has been counterpunched. Peace.